Pau. I'm Kaiopua Fife with the Koani Foundation, and we're bringing you another segment of Voices of Truth, one-on-one with Hawaii's future. Again, coming to you from the beautiful campus here at the Hawaii Prep Academy in Waimea, Big Island of Hawaii. And we have a good friend of ours with us again. We crossed paths again, as we do so frequently, and we're going to introduce you to Hale Mawae once more. Hale, aloha. How are you? Pleasure. Glad to see you here. My goodness, we all get around so much, and you're so fortunate to be in all of these great venues, man. This is the last time we talked was on Kauai, and we talked about issues and events there, and your background, and then we come over here to this tremendous workshop. And here you are. What a great project! And you got selected to come.
I
My
was
goodness.
selected. I was selected to be a part of the Hale Mawae Hanapi Foundation's Hawaiian School of Fine Arts called Ho'ea. So we've been here for a week already. So far, what we've been working on, using tools to make umeke, or bowls, wooden bowls. We started there. Working with Alani Appeal, who's another great Hawaiian artist and writer, scholar, Hawaiian scholar. We've been working with kapa masters like Auntie Marie McDonald, who is probably one of the finest kapa beaters and kapa makers that's here with us. So we're very fortunate to have her, as well as the other instructors that are helping her, Kumu Saber Kauka, Auntie Terry. So it's a very, very rigorous program. And then on top of that, we've been studying with Auntie Harinani Orm, who's our printmaking teacher, doing more, working with, more fine arts, modern mediums, creating prints based around Hawaiian culture and things that we're inspired by. And our final class would be jewelry making, which we have this awesome bone carver and stone carver from Aotearoa, whose name is Stacy Gordine. So we have quite a lot on our plate that we're being expected to do. And it's really, really rigorous. We're here from about 7:30 in the morning till about 10:30 at night, working on...
Stop for a few meals and keep on going.
Stop for a few meals and keep on going. So we're pretty much living,
eating,
sleeping
to the hilt, though.
Hawaiian cultural art and different forms of Hawaiian cultural art, and experimenting with a lot of those forms as well. So we're really enjoying
contemporary stuff.
And contemporary art as well. So traditional and contemporary.
That's what's so interesting. For a culture, for an art form to be living and breathing, I think it has to evolve. And with all due respect to our traditional images and art forms and protocols and so forth, which we have to continue to perpetuate and honor, the creativity that is just blooming and blossoming has got to allow for moving into everyone exercising to some extent their own creativity.
There really is such a wealth of knowledge, in our community. And what they've done here in Waimea with the Hanapi Foundation is really taking it to another level for Hawaiian artists, bringing them together, putting them in front of, somewhat masters of their art.
Right.
Even though most of them, if you ask them if they're masters, they're very ha'a.
Everyone's a student.
Exactly. Everyone's a student, and they're learning through the process as well and teaching us from some of the things that they experimented with. And to be learning from those people, it's, like for myself as an artist, as an activist, and kind of all of the things that we do, this, even in the first week and a half, we've already taken in such amount of knowledge that it's been kind of hard to digest, but we just keep moving forward because there's so much learning that we have to continue to take in.
I don't think you have time to dwell on it. You have to internalize it and absorb it and keep moving.
Exactly.
And it's inside. It's inside you. You're just going to have to call it up in the future and make use of it, because I understand along with participating here, you folks have all kind of made a commitment to the future of presenting and sharing what you're going through here.
So what we hope to do also with this program, it's a 3-year program, and we're what I'm hoping to do is that they're planning to pretty much have us create products with a very deep cultural basis around contemporary and traditional design and contemporary and traditional arts, and kind of create a market for that within our Hawaiian community to take a stronghold over our cultural arts market,
Right.
and really defining what is Maoli art, what is cultural art, and what that looks like for us as Kanaka Maoli today. And so it's a really, really bold move for a lot of us. And you know, I live, like right now I'm living in a house with about 8 other artists, and we talk about it a lot, like about the kind of knowledge that's being given to us and the kind of kuleana that's going to entail for us in the future.
Right.
Because
Your
how many
responsibility.
people are going to get to learn from, you know, Kumu Marie McDonald?
Right.
I mean, there's 30 of us that are learning from her right here in this program.
Right.
And that's a huge kuleana to have to take that knowledge,
Right.
digest it, and then eventually it'll be our kuleana to pass it on to the next generation, whatever she taught us.
Right.
Or elevate it to the next level and carry it on from where she's left off. You know, and I think that goes for all of the different teachers that have been sharing their gifts of
Right.
art with us.
Right. Well, it is that responsibility. I mean, we've talked about when I first walked up and I saw, well, here's Holly, you know. When I came in the other night, I said, man, you know, so many of our creative, forward-moving youth have got these tremendous opportunities to take advantage of. Some can do it, some can't, and when you can, it's just a tremendous, tremendous thing to take place.
Well, it really goes to show you that, like, just as Kanaka Maoli in general, we're such a thriving community of very creative people.
Yeah.
And when you get a lot of creative people together that share a similar indigenous perspective around art and creating art, you have this, it's like an instant evolution. We're, you know, we're here at Ho'ea creating a Renaissance movement in many ways.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's kumuhula in our group. There's, you know, cultural practitioners.
Broad
There's,
base,
I mean, there's a very broad base of people. There's wood carvers and very mastered people that are students as well.
Yeah.
So we're learning alongside other students too, you know, in this process. And
Synergy,
to see where
synergy
the
comes
see
from
where
that.
the energy that we're creating here in Waimea
Right.
goes after the 4 weeks is done will be really, really exciting to see. And I hope that people that are watching at home really pay attention to a lot of the other artists that are here, because there's a real strong movement of art that's going to be making its way, pushing its way forward, probably in the next 2 to 3 years after we go through this program and complete sort of mastering and fine-tuning our skills and crafts in multifaceted areas of our Hawaiian culture.
Right. Well, you know, you've got the artistic component, you have the educational component, you have the what I like to refer to as the sustainable aspect, which means taking care of business, being able to support, continue into the future and sustain, your efforts. You don't have to be a starving artist.
Right.
You don't have to starve to be a good artist. Matter of fact, if you can learn how to handle all of the aspects, it can really flourish. But to be here at this time is, I think, particularly unique for you and the others who are here, because I also see this, and I understand it's part of the plan, that we're really shooting here for a fine arts educational, big scope component.
Yeah.
It's going to be like a world-class situation.
It will.
Yeah.
And the thing is for Hawaiian artists out there who didn't hear about this, like a lot of people who didn't hear about this program, now that they're being exposed to it, can now jump on for the next 2 years and be a part of a new cultural renaissance. It happened, it's 30 some years ago, but now there's a whole different heightened level of artwork that we're going to be producing that is really exciting for people out there that are interested and are creative, that want to be involved, that aren't here. And for them that are listening out there, they should really look into this program, because I know a lot of people that were here, they got it, they got the email from someone who got it in an email, who got it from someone in an email, and it's really a great ho'ailona or sign to have these people will come together, you know.
Yeah. It's good that you point out that there's so much talent, you know, in the community, and people who were not able to be a part of this first step here, or the second step, following PICO, have to realize this is not an exclusive
Oh
thing.
yeah, exactly.
But for the beginnings, I think to be involved at this point is exciting, and it's an honor. But this is something that's got to keep growing, you know, geometrically. I mean, it's got to really compound itself. And my understanding is that, you know, it's a 3-year program. This will be the first year under the funding and the plan. And at the second and third year, the intent is to bring in new people, not just keep the same narrow
Group,
component, but to keep expanding, and everybody is always working forward and more broadly.
Right.
So, and I think that's a terrific plan. So those of you who are out there looking at this is not one of these things where it's exclusive and you've got to be related to somebody or something, but you have to have the skill and the energy and the dedication, commitment, and the willingness to be a part of this into the future.
Right.
So,
And just, it's not only being personally creative too. Like, I think for a majority of the part, it's all about collaboration. Like, everyone here is at different levels. I mean, we have 17 and 18-year-olds who are just out of high school, or they're not even graduated yet.
Right.
You know, all the way to, you know, kupuna that are like in their 60s and 70s that are working right alongside you. So it's interesting to learn and collaborate with all these people, and get to create and share what you have with them as well.
Well, this is again the synergy is the word that comes to me. Is all of you being together is multiple times what individually you could do individually.
Right.
I mean, it's just like a brainstorming session where all these huge, great ideas come out of it. And part of another interesting facet is that you have 4 strands of art going, and everyone has to participate in every strand.
Right.
So if you come here with a particular direction,
or focus, like some people are more interested in kappa, or some people are more interested in wood carving, and they never would have thought that they would pick up a kappa beater or ie kuku or a hohoa and start beating kappa. But when you're put in that situation and you're kind of presented with the opportunity to learn it, you know, in this setting, which is, you know, I would say highly rigorous and academic, you're encouraged, and you're kind of forced in a way to pick up that the hohoa and just beat your kappa, or you know, roll your print through the printmaker, or whatever that might be.
Yeah, well, I think I think it serves a lot of purposes. One thing, I think it kind of broadens the artistic base for you folks who are participating, because I know everyone probably leans in a certain direction or another. But the truth is, in order to continue forward and to really return the biggest bang for the buck and giving back in the future, you have to have a kind of a broad base. Hopefully everybody will continue in their, you know, where their heart and their mind leads them, their know-how takes them. But in order to really get full benefit to the community from this program, everyone's got to be as broadly educated as possible, I think. You know?
You're right. And there'll be a key, a key to being a resource in whatever community that they come from.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important part, you know, is that kuleana to go back and educate wherever it is we all come from, you know, and teaching others about kappa and wood carving and jewelry making and printmaking, all of those different facets that we're learning, taking it back into our community to give them tools to express themselves in whatever way they want to. With
I mean, whether it could be
culture.
just for self-satisfaction, something you do for your own enjoyment, or something that you can actually perhaps generate a living income on.
Yeah. And I think that's ultimately what they want to do, is that they want to create Hawaiian artists into being able to walk in both worlds, in a Hawaiian sense, in being able to just create something and give it away out of your na'au and out of that feeling of aloha and giving, but also being able to walk in the Western world and knowing how to price your stuff,
Right.
market it well,
Right.
market yourself well as an artist, and create a profit for not only you, but your community,
Years
So-
ago, we had a discussion. There were some artists there, and then there were some entrepreneurial types there. And the discussion was from the traditional art perspective. The ultimate in expressing your creativity is to create something with someone or something in mind, and you essentially put your money and everything into it. And the only person who would share that is the one that it was intended for.
Right.
Okay, so that's I think it's a traditional dynamic. But then there's the other side, and that is the commercial side of art. And it's kind of, I think it may create a quandary for some, but not
Right.
really. When you talk about it, it was a good expression, foot in both worlds. In order to do those things that you love most, you have to be able to sustain yourself, and maybe that means, okay, we create a level of art for people from all over the world who can enjoy it and who can afford it.
Right.
So, and I think that's good. It's,
And also create it for people in your backyard, or
Exactly.
your neighbors.
Yeah.
That's equally as fine art, but that is
I think they're different
still, in a
levels.
sense,
Yeah.
deeply cultural.
Yeah. I know we've traveled and seen, and I'm sure you have too, is what other peoples have done with their art, their traditional forms, and how it's evolved and how they've managed to make their lives sustainable, derive a livelihood from it. And they haven't had to compromise their traditional perspective. They keep it in another compartment.
And see, in this, in many ways, like we had a discussion at one of our closing picos at our ceremony on Friday. This is really about taking that moment to work towards sustainability, and in a different way. We're taking sustainability into our own hands by practicing our culture through art. And there's something that's very deep, in a sense that we're living in that spirit of ea, or that spirit of freedom, sovereignty, through just creating images, whether that's on kapa or whether that's on paper. We're creating images to sustain ourselves through our expression of art, in our na'au. And most of that stuff is coming from our na'au, or our picos, and we're putting it down onto paper or through wood,
Or
through the
kapa.
grain of the wood.
Yeah.
But it's it's an excellent program. I'm very honored to be here and be a part of it, and I'm very fortunate.
Well, you've done so many things, and I know you've been exposed to so many things. Have you participated in anything similar to this before?
To this extent, as far as arts go, no. Education, as far as coming together
Right.
and that kind of thing, yes.
Yeah.
But I've never participated in something quite as rigorous or as hardworking as this program has forced me to be, which is good, because it's really, exercising me to be at a next level, at a higher level of a cultural practitioner,
Yeah,
and an artist.
Yeah, there are huge expectations,
Yeah.
and to reach them, it's going to be interesting. I know we interviewed Uncle Kala Willis yesterday, and I guess next week he's going to start.
Yeah.
He's going to start the pahu, the drum component, and he said that the expectation is that by the end of the week, everyone will have completed the pahu.
Yeah.
And he said he's hoping for that, but he said it's really going to be pushing, and everyone is going to have to work really hard and intelligently, in order to get it done. So the outcomes of that is going to be. Have you ever made pahu?
I've never made a pahu before. I've seen someone make a
Right,
pahu,
right.
But this will be my first time making my own pahu, so I'm excited about that.
So next week will be the third week, right?
Yes, next week will be our third week. We're in the middle of our second week, and
Everyone's still standing, pretty much.
everyone is still standing. Some people are like, "Oh my God, I
Oh.
almost couldn't wake up
Oh.
this morning,"
Yeah.
because I'm just so working. We're all just working so hard,
Yeah.
you know. Like
you can't turn it off when
No.
at 5 o'clock in the evening. And,
you go home and you dream about it, and then
Yeah.
you wake up and you're like, "Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
time to go back to work again."
Yeah.
And it's
Well, you talk about dreaming. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if some people weren't dreaming up some things that they can actually incorporate into their
Right.
projects. You know?
yeah,
Whether it's designs or whatever. I know a lot of times I wake up in the middle of the night or early in the morning, and that's when it seems to be the greatest clarity for me. And nothing, no background noise going on, and I can see things, and everything's really clear. And I get some issues that were perhaps bothering me the day before are clarified. I have to be careful to make sure I put that down, and so that I can remember it when I wake up again later
Right.
in the day. But I think there's an aspect of dreaming that is a function of art, and
Like-
maybe hope nobody's having nightmares, but
no.
you know,
But like somebody said, in the Aboriginals culture, you know, they walk in their dream, and I think in many ways, like for Hawaiians, I mean, we can relate to that as far as trying to, you know, in that sense that you always want to try and walk in your dream. So if you see something that you want to make your own, or if there's cultural places that you want to have restored, or if there's arts that you want to see brought back and practiced thoroughly and in the open, that when you walk in that dream, those goals that you have here become a reality. And in many ways, for me and for a lot of people that are here, this is, you know, this dream has now become the reality, you know. And I'll end it on a little story, for example, but the other day after we visited Auntie Marie McDonald's Hale over in Waimea,
right.
we harvested Vauke in this beautiful Vauke patch that many of us had never even seen or been in a Vauke patch of that size and that grandeur.
Right.
So when we were working in the patch, we harvested all of our Vauke, and afterwards we went for a walk through her garden, and following that, we had all these pieces we had collected, like close to 100 different stalks of Vauke that needed to be debarked and stuff. So one of our roommates, Mikioe, and I, we decided, it was our Saturday, it was our day off, but we were like, you know what, we're gonna go and clean our Vauke. So we picked up our Vauke, we put it in the back of our other roommate's truck, and we drove down to Hapuna Beach, and we were just so passionate about creating art in our component, in our cultural component, which is with nature. We went down to the beach, we laid our Vauke in the water, we spent the hour debarking them and cleaning it right in the ocean at Hapuna, and the reactions that we received from other people was just so positive and curious that in a way we took what Auntie Marie gifted us and shot it forward. Because when we told her that we went down to the beach and like laid our Vauke in the water, and even though there was all these beach people laying all over the beach, and we practiced our culture openly in front of everyone, it just brought this huge, huge smile to her face because she made a difference. And not just for me, but for future generations that Mikioi and I may teach if we want to teach kapa making or printing or just cleaning Vauke, you know. And for us as cultural practitioners and artists, we opened ourselves up and let down our walls to openly practice our culture in front of people in a very special place that most people just say is a nice view to go swimming at, you know. So we're pleased to have been a part of that.
Did anyone come up and inquire, what are you doing? Or were
Oh
they,
yeah, people
you
were
know,
very,
were
very
they-
curious. They're like, "What are you guys doing? What are you guys making?" And you know, we were just very, honest, and we told them what we were doing, cleaning Valke, making it for kappa, and we're gonna be printing and dyeing on it. And people were really open to it. They were like, "Wow, you guys are, doing this kind of stuff." And when we explained it to them, people begin to kind of like awaken, and they're really curious and excited to know what it is they're doing, and kind of, if we had more Valke stocks, we probably would have thrown some in their hand and be like, help us clean some, why not?
Take part,
so
participate. Well, those kind of interactions are interesting because I know one thing that comes to mind is Eoea Malani up in Kokee, the annual celebration of Queen Emma's visit, to Kauai. And the way the pageantry takes place and the culture and the protocol, the music, the mele is fantastic, and visitors who are privileged to observe it, they're stricken in the same way. I mean, it's the purest form of interaction, I think, between cultures, and a good thing. We run right up against our clock on the wall, if we had a wall and if we had a clock. But the video timer tells us that we're going to have to go. But pleasure to share some more times with you. I mean, we're going to see you again someplace else, and we're going to talk again about the next focus.
Of course.
So Hale Mawae, mahalo nui for being here with us. And for those of you tuning in, once again, I'm Kaiopua Fife with the Koani Foundation, bringing you Voices of Truth, one-on-one with Hawaii's Future, standing right here, one of them. And we're a component of Free Hawaii Broadcasting Network, hui ho.